you.
Yeah, I like that. I noticed the theme. There's like a kind of a spiritual theme through a lot of the songwriting that I'm, touching. I hear it. It's not, I would say, it's possible to have a spiritual song without it being
a religious song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important to us. It's definitely a theme in all of our songs, and I don't really know what to say about it. I think that's why we put it in the songs. It's definitely a huge part of what we're doing now.
What you write, yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening, and they all kind of tie in together. And there's the lyrics very positive and very, I guess. I'm trying to. I can't really put a finger on the sound other than it just reminds me of a traditional. It reminds me of like a traditional folk music from the '60s that you heard, like thing that Peter, Paul, and Mary comes to mind or something. I don't want to give a, but it just gives me a real, uplifting kind of.
Well, certainly, Leonard Cohen's been a huge influence, especially for me. Adrian's infatuated with Joni Mitchell.
I was picking that up. That was going to be like I almost said Joni Mitchell, but yeah.
Yeah. Infatuated is too strong of a word.
No, it's barely strong enough.
Blue is probably one of my favorite albums of all time.
That's very jazzy.
Yeah, and I think she's great. Yeah, Leonard Cohen. He would take 2 or 3 years to write one song. He'd just hash out the lyrics over and over and over, and so we think paying attention to those details. Joni Mitchell is very lyrical, and her melody's kind of soar, and Leonard Cohen, his words just say so much. So you want to pick and choose of what's great about other people and try your best humbly to do the same thing.
Yeah, that was one of the when you said the jazz pop or jazz folk thing, Joni Mitchell came to mind, and that's interesting that you would list that as one of the influences in your songwriting.
Yeah.
And she Morgantown, you know that song?
Actually, no, I don't.
Yeah, she went to Morgantown. She went to, she lived in Morgantown. She went to WVU, which a lot of people didn't necessarily know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the one song in there, Morning Morgantown, is on her first record. Yeah, I didn't know that. Until a few years ago. So, yeah, we were talking about Atlanta. The time I spent down there, I didn't really get a chance to go. You play around down there. So for people that are listening on the internet, where could they come normally see you guys? Do you have like a particular venues that you?
We've got a regular gig at a wine bar. It's called Divine. It's in Dunwoody. It's a great little wine bar, and they do music a couple nights a week. And we're there every other Friday. Then there's just some of the singer-songwriter venues that we play at fairly regularly.
Cafe 45 South in Norcross. A great place.
Lena's Place, Hungry Ear, some of the coffee houses. And we've also been doing a lot of the festivals and community events because we feel like our music goes over really well, those sort of things. So.
Except for Divine, we tend to shy away from steady gigs.
Yeah.
And so if anyone's really interested, they can go to tortoiseandhair.com. Written out except for hair is like hair on your head, just to be confusing. And and we post our calendar there. And that we do keep up to date.
And you're on Facebook and MySpace and all those other
I'm working on
places.
Facebook. We're not so great with technology, but
okay.
It started, but it's a fledgling.
Yeah, okay. So you guys want to play another song
Yeah,
for us?
great.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's do Traveling Song. This is, you said there's a Celtic festival today, and I have Celtic roots myself, so this was kind of an attempt of bringing that out.
Okay.
It's called a Traveling Song.
So in case you just joined us, you're listening to Acoustic Songs Live, and we have Tortoise and Hair, and that's Adrian and Dustin Cottrell here in the studio, and this next song is called Traveling Song.
Now the glitter of this everything looks tinged with gray. Now I know one time I loved here. Now I know I cannot stay. So where should I consider home? Was it where first blood was drawn? Over you, my love, my heart belongs. So where you are, I'll say I'm from. Where you are, I'll say I'm from. No, my love, come take my hand. To this place we'll bid farewell. We will find where we belong. Cannot buy yourself. No, my love, come take my hand. To this place we'll bid farewell. We will find where we belong. We cannot buy yourself. Now we're traveling down this road alone. All belongings left behind. But we will not crave these clinging loves, as long as you are by my side. As long as you are by my side.
Okay, the only thing missing was like a tin whistle on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob,
Yeah.
Tin whistle on the bottom. I mean, yeah, definitely. I was transported. I could,
Oh, thanks.
I could see the green
To the
hills,
house.
and
Well, I liked,
I'm ready to touch the Blarney Stone
right,
and
right.
have some Guinness
Well,
High.
a lot of those, songs are about land and home and things like that, and people in America, we travel so much, and we don't necessarily have that same sense of this is my homeland and this is where I was born and my family has grown for generations and generations. And so I was kind of tackling that. Well, we still have that idea. So instead of my homeland being this particular plot of soil, it's wherever my loved ones are.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Genealogy, I went back into family history, and we came over from Scotland.
Yeah.
Back in the 1760 and 17, I think even before that. But yeah, so it's in the blood, and it's
Right.
really in this area of the country where you are. There's the
Is it
Scots.
big here?
The Scots-Irish just
Really?
run all through Appalachia. I mean, they came. I think what they did is they saw the mountains, and they stopped because
Right.
it reminded them of back home.
That's interesting.
And they raised sheep, which is what they did
Well, sure.
in Scotland. And you look at the history of and a lot of them kept going, of course, and kept going west, but a lot stayed just because of the fact that I think that's my personal opinion, but I bet.
That makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of the mining industry grew out of that. So that was there was a lot of mining back in Scotland. The coal mining. I think the English and the Scots came, and then a lot of the Irish came next, and so it's very interesting.
Well, between the two of us, we're about 25 different shades of white.
Really?
Yeah.
My ancestors are